Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to add a new power outlet to a room. And in my case, I want to put one in my bathroom right here, right to the side of the toilet. So I first need to find the closest power supply that I can borrow from to link it to this outlet. And within this room, the closest power supply is right up here, which is the light switch. Unfortunately, whenever you're going horizontal in a room for running wires, you have to go through studs every 16 inches. So to go from here all the way down to there, I'd probably have to drill through 4 or 5 studs and go around a corner. So that's not a great option, not one I want to pursue. So my next thought is to go to the other side of this wall and see if there's power that is a little bit closer that I can borrow from. And fortunate for me, I'm in luck, and right on the other side of this wall, right where I think I want to install my power outlet, there happens to be another power outlet that I can borrow from. So we're in good shape. I'm not 100% positive this is lined up where it's supposed to be. One way to check, and you might have your own way, there's plenty of different methods. One thing I like to do that's minimally intrusive is to take a sharpened piece of a wire hanger or a long nail and just poke it through. Now the power's already off, so I don't have to worry about hitting any wires or anything like that, but just poke it through the side and see where it comes out on the other wall. And that tells me exactly where on the other wall this outlet is located, so that I can make sure that it's lined up and it's not having to go through additional studs or anything like that. So poke this through, see where it comes out on the other side, and ensure that that's where you want to actually put your power outlet in. And I'm in luck. That piece of hanger that I pushed through came out right here, which is right where I want to put my new outlet. So I'm in great shape. I can easily borrow power from that outlet. I don't even have to have much additional wire to run to where I want to put mine. So just couldn't have worked out much better. And then I measured a few inches up above where that wire came out to trace out where I want to put my box in. Okay, for this job, a couple of the things that you're going to need is some Romex, which is your wire, standard household wire, the outlet box, the outlet. This one is a GFCI, which means that if it gets wet, it'll turn off, and so you don't have as much of a risk of shorting. I decided to go with that one, even though it's a little bit more expensive, because this is going into a bathroom after all, and there's chance for water. An outlet cover, some wire cutters, wire stripper. This drywall saw is going to be used to cut the hole in the drywall on the bathroom side where I'm going to put my new outlet, an X-Acto knife, and a pencil. All right, let's get started. So like I said, you want to make sure that the power's off. That's already been done here. It'd be great if you had an outlet tester. You can buy those for about 10 bucks. I never use those. It just seems like an unnecessary tool to me. I either use a voltmeter that I already have handy, or I just plug something in like a little lamp and just make sure that it's off. But verified that the power is off multiple times, so we're in good shape here. What you're going to want to do after you've done that is pull out your junction box and see how it's been hooked up in the first place. This one is in the center of a wire, so we have power coming in and power going out of the same one. It could also be set up that it is the very end of a wire, so you're only getting the black and the white going in. You're not getting it also coming out, feeding another application on down the line. And then we've got a wire nut joining all of our grounds together. So we have a single lead, because these have multiple leads for the power and the neutral, but they only have one for the ground. So there's a wire nut connecting both of these, both of the grounds in the split wire to your outlet. Okay, and this junction box, let's see if you can see here, has little tabs in the back that you can punch out to run additional wires to additional applications. In our instance, we're going to be going up through the top, and those are already punched out, so we'll just run our additional Romex up through one of those punched out panels. The next thing I'm going to do is just cut out this hole that I already marked. It's several inches above where that wire came through, which marked the center of my outlet on the other side. So I made sure that this would clear the outlet that's down below on the other side of this wall. And I took the new outlet box and I just held it up against the wall and I traced it. So I'm just going to cut that out with my drywall saw, and then I'm going to run my bit of Romex from this opening down through that other one and wired into the other existing outlet. You can see that worked perfectly. That's exactly where my junction box is. So I'm just going to put a piece of Romex in to the back from this side and then go back to the other side and connect it up, leaving this end out for wiring in my new junction box. Okay, so we've got the wire through and I stripped the wire, so it's all ready to go. I'm just gonna explain what I'm gonna do and then I'll show you afterwards because it's really hard to hold the camera and do a bunch of handwork. So essentially, there's the neutral side, which is the white, and the hot side, which is the black. And everything on the neutral side is connected and everything on the black side on the hot side is connected. So since this particular outlet is already overloaded in the main ports, that is, there's a white, there's two whites and there's two blacks, I'm going to have to use these screws on the side. So what I'm going to do is attach this white neutral wire. I'm going to put a little hook in the wire and then I'm going to attach it to this screw on the white side. And I'm going to do the same thing for the hot wire, the black wire on the right hand side. I'm going to attach it to this screw set over here. And then for the ground wire, there's only one spot to ground on the actual outlet itself, which is right here. So I'm going to do the best practice that was already done when this was set up in the first place, and that is take these two ground wires that were already in existence, hold them together with a wire nut, and from that wire nut have the single ground wire coming into the outlet. I'm going to leave it just like that. I'm just going to take this wire nut off and add this ground wire in here. So it'll be 3 ground wires coming together, 1 coming out to this outlet. And here's what it looks like when it's all done. So I just added a the black wire to this side on the screw, like I said, white wire to this side on the screw, and now you can see that there are 4 wires going into this wire nut with the addition of the one from this new Romex that I just put in that's going to go to my other outlet, and it just feeds right into that same grounded connection. And now this is ready to go back in. Just shove this back in the cavity and then put the housing back on, or the faceplate back on, and this side is done. Now we can go over to the other side. Okay, so on the other side of the wall, I punched out one of the sections in the bottom of this box and just fed the wire through it and stuffed the box into the space in the wall. Fit perfectly because we traced it, so that's kind of what you'd expect. And now I'm going to, on this side is the stud. So this is right up against the stud, and I'm just going to screw in. You can't really see it, but there's a screw up here and there's a screw down here, and that'll anchor it to the stud. And you want this pretty much flush. It can be a little bit recessed. All right, it can be a little bit recessed into the wall, but not much, because that the outlet that you screw in here is going to have little tongs that go above and below the drywall as well, and so it can't really recess into the wall too much more than it already is, and then the faceplate is going to go flush on top. So flush to maybe like 1 millimeter back there recessed, but that's about what you want. And then, yeah, that's it. All right, we're ready to, I've mounted this junction box into that stud by securing both of those screws all the way. Now we're ready to wire in our GFCI, GFCI, ground fault circuit interrupter, yeah, GFCI. And the way we do that, it's a little bit more confusing because there's no wires already hooked in to let you know that you're doing it right, but they make it so easy for you. This side says white. Which wire do you think we hook into the white side? That's right, the white wire. And the other side says hot. That's the black wire. And then up top, you've got your green. Green is always for ground, and the ground is your copper wire. So we're just gonna put each of those wires, each of those respective wires, so they're white on this side, just put it in one of these holes and then screw this screw down. You can also wind it around the screw on the outside and clamp it down. What happens when you tighten this screw is on the inside, if you would push the wire down through this hole, if you tighten it down, there's a metal plate on the inside that when you turn this clockwise, it'll pull that plate closer and it'll hug that wire into this metal plate. So it clamps it down just the same on the inside as if you were to do it on the outside, but it's a little bit more secure in there, a little less likely to touch anything else. So that's the way I like to do it. So we'll hook up these 3 wires and then we'll just screw this in right up at the top and put the faceplate on. All right, and that's it. It's installed. I flipped the breaker back on, and the other outlet and this outlet are working perfectly. You can see the green indicator lights on. This one's ready to go, and I plugged a little lamp into it, and it lit up just fine. So I know this is ready. Last step, well, second to last step, put the outlet cover on, screw that in, and you're done. You've got a brand new outlet installed. Congratulations. Before you celebrate too much, one last step that I want you to take. When you come out to your breaker box to flip the breaker back on, remember which one it was. So for me, it was breaker number 21 over here. And do yourself a favor, a big favor, and write in what is now attached to that breaker. So before, remember, that was my entryway lights and outlets. And now I have it wired into the master lavatory bathroom. So I just added master lav. Quick way to remember for next time, now that your wiring has gotten a little bit funky. Now maybe it won't be the same for yours. Maybe you'll borrow power that's very close by and already on the same breaker. But if you do something like this where you have to borrow from another room, just make sure you update your breakers to save yourself a huge headache next time your power goes out, or breaker flips, or you want to do something else electrical and you need to flip off the right breaker. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you found these tips useful today.